Hello, everybody. Bienvenido. Welcome to World Cup coverage as Argentina take on Egypt. We have just passed the first hydration break, roughly a bit over half an hour in, 10 minutes left of the regular time in the first half. And Egypt, historically, have come this far in the World Cup and are now up by one goal, courtesy of Yasser Ibrahim, the Al Ali defender, who has scored the opener for Egypt. Lionel Messi has missed a penalty against Egypt, denied by Schobert, who's had a phenomenal World Cup outing so far. And for the Egyptians, needless to say, this is a historic World Cup for many reasons as Argentina continue to try to break down this resilient Egyptian midfield and defense. The ball now being driven a little bit forward by Paredes over to McAllister. And now picked up again. Argentina driving forward down the left hand side here, looking to find an opening. Having to circulate it back through the midfield. Leandro Paredes. As it seems as though one of the Argentine players took a stumble there. The ball is played in towards Leo Messi. It's denied very well by Imam Ashur, who's been nothing short of absolutely phenomenal for Egypt. And a team with stars like Omar Marmoush and Mohamed Salah. He's been so good for this Egyptian side and has really shown himself from a very good side for an Egyptian side really that has been underdogs for the most part, now slowly becoming a dark horse in this tournament as we enter the latter stages of it. And of course, next up is France and Morocco. That game taking place on Thursday. As Lionel Messi here down the right hand side, finding support. Ball goes inside. It's thwarted by Egypt and seems to be a stumble. Argentina play on here is Lionel Messi, and his shot is very much over the bar. So, for Argentina, of course, Diego Simeone in attendance, and the starting lineups are the following: the lineups that have been throughout the entirety of the first half. Emiliano Martinez in goal, Cuti Romero and Lisandro Martinez back from injury after injury, starting today. Nico Taliafico down the left. Nahuel Molina, the Atleti man, of course, down the right hand side. Midfield consisting of Rodri de Paul, Alexis McAllister, and Leandro Paredes. Enzo Fernandez at the 10, Lionel Messi, and Julio Alvarez, who, of course, in a lot of talk now surrounding Julian Alvarez with regards to a potential move to Barcelona, is starting next to Lionel Messi as the Argentinians continue to try to break down a very resilient Egyptian side. And Egypt have not made it easy for the Argentines. The penalty kick, of course, was denied by Schobert as a chance here down the left hand side for Julio Alvarez. And it's a brilliant save by Schobert once again, denying the Argentines the joy of putting this game back on equal terms. It is a phenomenal save by the Egyptian. Nico Taliafico down the left-hand side with a cutback in for Julio Alvarez. And just when he thought that was going to be a goal, and it looked like it was going to be, for the time being, Atleti man finds himself denied by Schobert. Of course, an interesting fact here for those of you watching is that a lot of these players on this Egyptian side ply their trade either in Egypt or elsewhere in the Middle East. The back line, you're talking Karim Hafez down the left-hand side. He's playing for Pyramids FC in Egypt, of course. Yasser Ibrahim, the goal scorer, playing for Al Ali, as does Mohamed Hani, the right back. Rami Rabia plays in Al Ain, which are in the Arab Emirates. Lachine in midfield. Mohamed Lachine plays in Pyramids FC as well. Marwan Atiyah in Al Ali. Haitham Hassan plays in Real Oviedo. And Probably, aside from Mohamed Salah in the starting 11, the only player to have played in Europe recently, Haysam Hassan on the right hand side. Mo Salah, of course, a free agent at the moment, and Mustafa Ziko at Pyramids FC, Imam Ashur at Al Ali. And for the bench players, the notable ones would be, as the corner here doesn't come to much, and it will be a goal kick for Egypt. The notable names here would be Mahmoud Sabir, of course, a long stay, a mainstay for the Egyptian national team, playing in Pyramids FC as well. Then Hamza Abdel Karim, of course, the newly signed Bartha Athletic striker. Omar Marmoush, of course, at Man City. And then the others who all play in and around the Middle East, including Zizo, including Trezeguet, of course, and for the goalkeepers, Mohamed El Shinawi, Mohamed Ala, all of those play in and around the Middle East. So, comparing that to a team, an Argentinian team, where most of, if not all of these players, actually every single one in the starting lineup at some point has played in Europe at some point recently, or still play in Europe in the top five leagues, barring perhaps Leandro Paredes, who plays in Boca Juniors, but of course has had stints around Europe. You're talking about a team coming up against players who, for the most part, have not seen Europe at a playing level, making this all the more interesting and all the more impressive that they've been able to sustain the pressure from the Argentines, which, let's face it, hasn't been monumentous in any way, as the Argentines look to attack down the left hand side again, this time cleared by the Egyptians all the way back to Dibu Martinez in goal, who's pushed forward a little bit here, trying to help facilitate the play. And for the statistics, Argentina with 7 shots, 3 on target. Egypt with, well, 2, 1 on target being the goal. So 50% success rate there in terms of shots on target, shots off target. As a cutback here goes all the way in, and maybe a chance if Lionel Messi can find a shot. He goes for a short pass here to, not a bad shot from Julio Alvarez again, this time from the edge of the box, but ever sailing over and wide. And again, as we approach the halftime whistle, a very good performance by the Egyptians. The Argentines, not so much, although they found themselves thwarted time and time again. Of course, the penalty that Schobert saved and the chance that we just witnessed with Julio Alvarez, a one-on-one, and Schobert once again coming up clutch for the North Africans. And again, monumentous performance from the Egyptians. You can only play against the teams you face. And for Egypt, now facing Argentina, Argentina are, well, by no stretch of the imagination, playing to their fullest potential, which obviously is a talking point, but it does not take away from the fact that the Egyptians have done incredibly well to minimize the effect that players like Lionel Messi, players like Julio Alvarez can have on this game. As a free kick here from about 40, 50 yards out for Lionel Messi, looking to be an in-swinger. It is towards the back post, and Schobert collects it calmly, goes to ground, giving his team a bit of time to regroup as the Egyptians will try to sustain this scoreline, going in with a lead into the halftime break. As Schobert goes long over towards Imam Ashur on the left, it's picked up here well by Mo Salah, Hafez. And here he is again. Mohamed Salah driving forward and doing well. Looking to find a through ball towards Imam Ashur. He's taken down in the process and looks to be in some pain. Got tag teamed there, it seemed. And again, for looking at the numbers, they very rarely lie. And of course, they never tell the full story. But Argentina have had 59% of possession. They've had the more shots. They've had the more touches in the opposition box, more big chances, more attempted passes. Percentage wise, relatively speaking, the same amount of accurate passes in 88%. However, have not been able to find the back of the net. And for Egypt, that is very, very good news. And we'll have to see whether they can sustain that with 5 minutes added on here to the first half. And what a performance by the Egyptians, who, for a lot of people prior to this matchup, or prior to the whistle being blown for kickoff, had written them off as a team that will definitely be a cakewalk for the Argentines. It has been nothing but, and in fact, the Egyptians have been the living example in this match of just being clinical with your finishing, which Argentina have not been able to do. They had a clear cut chance for the penalty. They had a clear cut chance after that for Julian Alvarez. They weren't able to convert any of them. Meanwhile, Egypt have had one real chance and scored off it, and have been happy to sit back and watch this game evolve as the Argentines continue to look for ways to break down this defense and continue to not be successful in doing so. And the slow buildup for Argentina, they're hoping it will pay off eventually. The Egyptians seem to believe that it won't, and Chabert again with another swoop to make sure that Lionel Messi didn't get on the end of that. And a minute and a half to go. Well, a minute and a half has elapsed of the 5 minutes of injury time, and there's an attempted ball over the top is made there. It looks like, well, no foul called there as an Egyptian player fell to ground. Good header by Rami Rabia, and this time there will be a foul. And it looks like he might have gone down with what seems to be an injury. You look to win that header ahead of William Alvarez, who, in fairness, didn't do very much. But the landing seemed to be a bit harder on him than he would have liked. Rami Rabia, the 33-year-old center back, has been incredibly good for Egypt, both given his age and his experience. He's been a crucial player for them in defense, has been a true leader in the side, and has sort of been the leading voice, the leading defender in terms of the energy that's required to lead a team like this, especially given the odds that they have, because they have not been dealt a very good. They haven't been dealt a very good hand, Egypt. Let's face it. But when you consider the teams they've been facing, they haven't been the biggest hurdles, and this is the biggest hurdle so far for Egypt, and they've come out on top in the first half. Rami Rabia now back on his feet. In Egypt with 37% possession, 10% in contest, 53% to Argentina, have done well. Here's Hassan down the right. Hassan up against Taliafico, looking for a cross in. It's rejected, picked up by Argentina. Now a chance for a counterattack if they can find it. A swarm of red coming up against the Argentinians. And Enzo Fernandez spurring his teammates to push forward a little bit and search for a goal that would put things back on level terms as they head into the halftime break. Lionel Messi now all the way back, playing almost as a libero, allowing some of his midfielders to push up a little bit. And here he's driving in from deep. Lionel Messi looking for an option, goes back. Ball now in the middle of the park with Enzo. And the ball is now on the left-hand side here. Telefico and company thinking about a cross. Go back through the midfield. Leandro Paredes now. And here might be a chance for Lionel Messi as he looks to wiggle through two. Support down the left. It's a good through ball. It's read by Mohamed Hani. He tries to clear it, and it's blocked by Nico Taliafico. It will be a goal kick for the Egyptians. And with seconds to spare of this first half, Egypt just might, here in Atlanta, come away with a 1-0 scoreline at the half, which you can expect only means more pressure from the Argentines going into the second half. But for the Egyptians, they are well aware that should this scoreline hold until the second half, they will need to do something in the second half to get a cushion. Because resting on that 1-0 scoreline would be very unwise. And what we're seeing here is Imam Ashur, by far, for me, the standout performer in this Egypt side, requested a substitution. Might have taken a knock or a bit of discomfort. We'll see if that does happen as Egypt have some players warming up in his stead. We'll see whether he does get taken off for the second half. And if he does, you would need profiles that can mimic what he does because he's a very dynamic player, very capable out wide, very capable in the middle as the 10. Got some good finishing on him as well as Argentina try a Hail Mary and it lands for Schubert, who was pressed ever so slightly by Alexis McAllister. Claims that there should be a foul, and nothing happens as the halftime whistle is blown. Argentina trail to Egypt. 1-0 the score. Yasser Ibrahim, the man who leaped highest and headed it into the back of the net when Egypt were looking for a savior the most. And for Egypt, this is history. We'll be back after this brief break, and we'll see you for the second half in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the BG Matchday show. Welcome to the halftime show. And today we're not covering Barcelona. My name is Omar Hawash. I'm your commentator for the day and for every day. Today we're covering the World Cup. And we've just witnessed a historic first half for Egypt as they take on Argentina. The Argentina of Lionel Messi, Julian Alvarez, Rodri de Paul, Leandro Paredes, Guti Romero, and company. And for the Argentines, this will be a half to forget. The Argentinians were by far uh, weak performers on the day so far. 45 minutes have been played of the first half, including the 5 minutes of injury time. And throughout all of it, the Argentinians looked lacking in creativity, did not dare to shoot from distance. Uh, the Egyptians played with a low block following the opener and the only goal for the day so far by Yasser Ibrahim with a brilliant header into the back of the net as the Argentinians trailed 15 minutes into this match and have been trailing since. Of course, the big question mark for Egypt will be whether Imam Ashur out on the left hand side wearing the number 8 shirt, who currently plies his trade in Al Ali, although after the performances he's put up at this World Cup, you could imagine some bids coming in from Europe for the 28-year-old. Again, one of the main talking points for this Egyptian side, of course, is the lack of representation across Europe's top five or Europe's leagues in general. This Egyptian side boasts a starting 11 where, except for Mohamed Salah, and if we're talking about this starting 11 specifically, as well as Hassam Hassan, the only two players that have played in Europe this past season from this entire starting 11. The rest, for the most part, in Egypt, either at Al Ahly or Pyramids FC, and for the rest, in the Middle East. So, in some cases, it would be something like the United Arab Emirates, um, and for the most part, it would be in the Egyptian league, either at Al Ahly or Pyramids FC. Al Ahly, of course, having had their own controversies not too long ago, but continue to be a club that remains in the top bracket of Egyptian football. But again, these players have not played in Europe, at least not in the last season. For some of them, never in their career, at least not at a top flight level, where you compare that to the Argentinian 11, where you have Dibu Martinez in England, Lisandro Martinez in England, Cuti Romero in England, Molina in Spain for Atleti, Taliafico, who has played at Ajax, now plays at Lyon and has done for a good while, McAllister at Liverpool, Paredes, who's played at Roma and a lot of other clubs up until recently, where he joined Boca Juniors, Rodri de Paul at Atleti until recently when he joined Inter Miami, and Fernandez, of course, starting for Chelsea, Julio Alvarez for Atleti, but probably not for long, and Leo Messi played in Barca for the majority of his career, then PSG, now Inter Miami as well. And even when you look on the bench, even your options like Facundo Medina, who isn't really a starter by any stretch of the imagination, and has been out with an injury, plays for Marseille. Gonzalo Montiel played for Sevilla for a good while, now plays for River Plate. Marcos Senesi just signed for Spurs. Nico Otamendi played for and still plays for, well, played for Benfica up until recently when he moved to River Plate. Ezequiel Palacios by Leverkusen and still is. Gio Lo Celso, Real Betis, has played for Spurs. Giuliano Simeone, of course, son of Diego Simeone, who is in the stands today, of course, at Atleti. Nico Gonzalez, uh, Atleti, Juve, Nico Paz, Como, and has attracted interest from elsewhere. Thiago Almada played in the MLS until recently when he got bought by Atleti. Valentin Barco, who has played in a couple of different places, now plays in Strasbourg, which is still in the top five leagues. Jose Lopez at Palmeiras, and Lautaro, of course, at Inter. If you compare that to Egypt, most of these players have not seen Europe at a playing level for a long, long time. Hamza Abdel Karim, perhaps the only one who's moved from Al Ahly to Barca Athletic, and Omar Marmoush, of course, for Manchester City. But aside from that, you're talking about a team that is well within North African football in every sense, and then a team that consists of some of the best players in the world who have consistently proven that coming up against this team in Egypt. And of course, the winner will face the The winner of this tie will face the winner of the game that will be following here in about an hour or two, Switzerland and Colombia in the quarterfinals. And so, if you look at how those teams have played and you look at the teams that they've had to face also, you could argue that if Egypt were to go through here, which factually speaking doesn't look super unlikely, although you would imagine and you would expect Argentina to mount a comeback, facing Switzerland or Colombia should not be a bigger challenge than facing Argentina. Whereas for Argentina, on paper, Switzerland or Colombia might be the tougher opponent, especially Colombia, given the South American history there. But whoever wins this might have a half semi easy next round and could go through to the semifinals. Obviously, they could go, you could say, for anything. But I think if Egypt managed to beat Argentina here, they could go to the semifinals at the very least. And if Argentina managed to beat Egypt, they could definitely go to the semifinals. And Argentina, of course, given that they won that in Qatar in 2022, could remain one of the favorites. And so you would expect to see them in the final, unless they crash out here, which is looking likely, given that Egypt have not only scored the only goal of the game so far, but also been able to sustain that lead over the course of the 45 or 50 minutes, realistically speaking, that have been played for the first half. And so, as we enter the second half here, slowly but surely, the question will be for Egypt whether Imam Ashur will continue, because he's been, for me, the biggest performer in a team that has someone like Mohamed Salah, that has someone like Omar Marmoush, who for me has been quite subpar in truth here in the latter games that Egypt have played. And for Argentina, you're talking at this point. This is arguably the Gala 11. Um, I don't think anyone would say that unless you were to put Julio Alvarez as the 10, swap Enzo instead of Paredes, and have him play as the metronome. I don't really see many changes you could make to this team that would make it objectively better in terms of form and in terms of ability. Um, I don't think Gio Lo Celso would be a better option here than Alexis McAllister. And this is coming from someone who genuinely enjoys watching Lo Celso and has enjoyed watching Lo Celso for many, many years. I think on merit, this is the best 11 that Argentina have right now. It's somewhat youthful defense. Okay, looking away from Nico Taliafico, you're talking the rest of them are 28 years old. Lisandro Martinez, Cuti Romero, Nahuel Molina, and then obviously you have someone like Marco Senesi, who is 29, but has just only recently secured that move to Tottenham Hotspur. Nico Otamendi is 38 years old. He's not going to be much of an upgrade on any of these two defenders, and if he is, they need to be asking themselves some very, very serious questions. Ezequiel Palacios is a good midfielder, but again, not someone who you would, at least for me, I would not put him ahead of any of the starting four in that midfield. So for me, really, no excuse for Argentina to not be at the very least drawing in this game. But it has to be said, has Chabert put up a Vozinha performance similar to the ones we saw for Cape Verde? Probably not. But he's put up a really, really good performance. He denied Messi the penalty. He denied Julio Alvarez the one-on-one. And he's been very, very commanding between the sticks. He's been helping, commanding his defense. He's been a leader. And he showed that in the last game as well for Egypt. Um, and and against the Aussies, I think if it had been El Shinawi in goal, I think we would have seen a different outcome. But what we're seeing now for Egypt is that, for better or for worse, and for me, it's definitely for worse, and it's nothing against the substitution as a concept. It's nothing against Hamdi Fathi coming on, but Imam Ashur is being replaced by Hamdi Fathi, which means that down that left-hand side, you're probably going to see a bit more of a defensive shift, which makes sense if you consider Messi to be the right-sided piston for Argentina. But given how Messi has been playing, he's going to be more central. So it's not going to matter much. But what it does mean is that you're going to have to expect, if you're Egypt, you're going to have to expect your midfield to occupy that half space a little bit more. Someone like Marwan Atiyah, we're going to see him push out a little bit more because he's been very, very central in this game. So for Egypt, what you're seeing is sort of a 4-1. Well, it's in theory it's a 4-4-2, but it's been quite fluid, which the 4-4-2 usually isn't, but has been for Egypt. And as we enter this first half here, Argentina might have a chance, if not for the main man himself. Who else but Rami Rabia, who is again, I mean, this is a 33-year-old defender who has been extremely commanding for Egypt throughout the course of this World Cup and throughout the course, excuse me, of this game. As Mo Salah gets pulled back there by Lisandro Martinez, the butcher of Manchester, who hasn't been able to do a whole lot of butchering lately, in part due to injuries, remains one of the more talented of the lot when you talk about Argentinian defenders in recent times. But for Egypt, I think, given the aerial threats that they can have in someone like Yasser Ibrahim, in someone like Hamza Abdel Karim, if he comes on, it's not a bad option for them that they have Lisandro Martinez to leap over because it shouldn't be all that difficult because he's never really been an aerial threat in part due to his height, but also just the fact that he isn't an aerial threat. You've seen players that aren't the tallest but are still able to mount a challenge when it comes to those headers. And Lisandro Martinez is not one of those players. As Argentina look to progress here, Lionel Messi might get a shot away here down the right hand side. He finds support in Enzo Fernandez, and it's Rodri de Paul who takes the shot, and it's not a bad one, but Schobert took that very, very easily. Rodri de Paul had two Egyptians sliding at him and ended up, looks like we might see a foul here, as it seems to be that Julian Alvarez got into a bit of a tussle with Schobert in goal. But he's back up on his feet, and Egypt can try to attack again. This time, Hassan gets attacked through the back by Nico Taliafico, and it will be another foul. And what we're clearly seeing now already, very early on, as Nico with his studs up tried to get to the ball and ultimately got to the man, is that Argentina are very visibly showing their frustration with how this game has gone so far. And realistically, they have no one but themselves to blame. This has not been a game where Egypt have used any. It hasn't been the dark arts. It hasn't been Atleti of 2013. It hasn't been teams who necessarily play just on the edge of what's considered the gray area. But Argentina might have a chance here down the right. It's very good play. Can they find a finish? No is the answer, as Lionel Messi gets thwarted once again by Rami Rabia, and it will not be a corner, it seems. Looks like it will be a goal kick. Again, very, very good tracking by Rami Rabia. Just about got a foot in to make sure the ball went through the legs of Lionel Messi, but also touched him on the way out, and it will be a goal kick for Egypt. And again, for Argentina, they've looked stale, for the lack of a better word. They've looked very stale in attack. They've looked lacking in invention. They haven't been as daring as they normally are. And Egypt have countered that with high pressure around the midfield and around the attack and just sitting in a low block waiting for Argentina to try and get a ball through. And the second they do, they're ready to step in. Down the right-hand side here, looking to combine now with Molina. Egypt say the ball was out of play. Referee says no. And here is Leandro Paredes over on the left, finding support. Well, now with Taliafico. Swing across for Romero. And a cross in towards the back post. And it's dealt with by Hassan. Can they clear it? Yes, they can. Ball now with Mohamed Salah over for Sam Hassan down the right hand side. Up against Taliafico. Hassan still going, and it will be a throw for the Egyptians as he's made it all the way over to the final third and does really well there. In fact, to just stall the Argentine defense and give them a bit more time to advance the play, so that now when Mohamed Hani takes this throw in, they're in a much more favorable position. And they've given it away. Ball now back with the Argentines. And driving forward slowly but surely is Lisandro Martinez. Martinez over for Nahuel Molina, looking for support. Switches it over to Lisandro Martinez. Enzo. Enzo Fernandez again, looking for an option. Can't find the through ball. Goes to Leandro Paredes. De Paul back to Paredes. In for Enzo. Maybe a bit of a slither of a chance here down the left for Nico Taliafico with a cross. He thought about it. Went back inside to the midfield where Lisandro Martinez has pushed up a little bit. Rodri De Paul looking to combine with Messi. And the ball in here from Leandro Paredes. It's a good over-the-top ball, but it doesn't reach the Argentines just yet. But here might be a chance for Enzo as he finds Alexis McAllister. A little bit of confusion among the Argentines on who takes that ball. It's been won back by Egypt, but through illegal means, says the referee, as Mo Salah would have been through on goal. And Francois Letessier not happy with that. Messi telling Mo Salah to step a little bit further back as to not be an obstacle for the free kick. That is from long range and will, without a doubt, be an in-swinger towards the back post. And it is. Chabert punches it out of play. Well, out of the box, really. Almost out of play as the Argentines pick it back up down the right-hand side. Here is Leandro Paredes down the right-hand side looking for a shot from distance. And it's not a bad one, but it's not going to trouble Chabert all too much as it goes over the bar. And Chabert asking his teammates to step up a little bit and not let him take those shots from distance, because Leandro Paredes is a dangerous figure from distance, as is Enzo Fernandez. McAllister has the occasional. De Paul has a rocket on him as well, so they do need to not allow those shots, as well as obviously Lionel Messi goes without saying. But you need to, if you're Egypt, not allow these players to get the shots away. And Hamdi Fethi, they're losing possession carelessly as his first touch failed him. Argentina now still in control of the flow of this game, although can't seem to find a breakthrough, and it looks like they might have gotten themselves a foul here. Let's see what Francois says. It will be seemingly a foul. Yes, it will. Lisandro taking it, finds Messi. Here is Enzo Fernandez with a diagonal switch across as they slowly enter the final third. Messi, who's pushed himself back. Ball now on the left-hand side for Enzo Fernandez. Finds Nico Taliafico, thinking about a cross. He goes for the cross towards the back post and is denied by Egypt on the first time of asking. Lands for Leo Messi. Messi up against Hassan. It's brilliant defending by Egypt. And now might be a chance down the counter here, down the right-hand side. If Salah can get it, no is the unequivocal answer. It's a very, very good step in by Cuti Romero. And now another chance down the left-hand side. And nope, says the referee. Francois Letessier calling it back for, I believe, a foul more so than an offside. Looks like it might have been an offside call after all. Mohamed Hani taking this throw, getting it back and looking to launch it down the right. Did not work, and Argentina back in possession. Enzo Fernandez doing well to keep possession. Now the ball lands for Alexis McAllister down the left, holding the ball down a little bit. Finding Leandro Paredes, who's driving inside here. Leandro for Enzo. Here is Messi. Messi looking to get through and couldn't. Does win the foul, though. There's been a lot of fouls in this one. Matter of fact, if you look at the stats, well, you're talking 7 fouls committed by Egypt, 11 committed by Argentina. These stats, of course, courtesy of our good friends over at FUTMob. And we'll see if Argentina can conjure some magic with this free kick. It is a fair distance away once more. And one thing that the Egyptians aren't letting happen is giving the Argentines free kicks from short range. As Enzo now on the ball, and Argentina forced back off of, well, further back than where the free kick was originally taken, actually forced all the way back to the halfway circle. And Egypt have done very well in neutralizing the threats that Argentina would otherwise be forming had they had the space and time. But here is Lionel Messi. Might go for a shot. He goes through one. Can't go through the second. And the ball goes over down the left-hand side, launched long, but it won't reach anyone, as Mohamed Lashin couldn't really find a teammate further up the pitch. Argentina returning the favor here with the ball across for Nico Tagliafico. And there is Schobert catching the header across the face of the goal once again. And the interesting thing as well for Argentina is they've been utilizing Nico Tagliafico quite a lot in the attacking sequences, letting Nahuel Molina sort of be the more defensive of the two fullbacks. And Egypt are comfortable so far, at least, have shown to be comfortable letting Tagliafico roam down that left flank as long as they cover his options in the middle, which they've been doing very, very well. At 56 minutes in, we're close to the hour mark. Egypt still lead against Argentina in this World Cup fixture. And of course, again, the winner here will face either of Switzerland or Colombia in the quarterfinals. Speaking of the quarterfinals, of course, the other games there in this round, at least the other games in this round, which we will get to in about a second, if Egypt can get out of this. They got out of it in the first stanza, but Mohamed Hani now up against Lisandro Martinez, who tries to nutmeg him, couldn't get through him. And Atiyah does well to find help in Hassan down the right. Hassan looking to keep it. He does well here. Hassan down the right-hand side. One nutmeg from Hassan in for Mo Salah. Here is Mohamed Salah in for Mustafa Ziko scores the second for Egypt, and they are making history in the World Cup. Mustafa Ziko scores the second, takes off his shirt to celebrate. It will be a yellow card, but he will take that at the hour mark. Egypt have added a second to their tally. Mo Salah with the assist. It's a beautiful through ball. It's wonderful play from Hassan down the right. And it's beautiful counter-attacking football by Egypt. They have done the seemingly impossible. And it all starts from Lisandro Martinez looking to get through down the right. He doesn't. It's beautiful play by Atiyah as well. Hassan does incredibly well to beat two. And then at the tackle, find Mohamed Salah. The ball goes through down the left. And now the VAR room is reviewing whether a foul was committed on Lisandro Martinez in the build-up. We'll have to see, because the question there is whether Marwan Atiyah did clip not Enzo Fernandez, Lisandro Martinez, my apologies. We'll have to see whether that is the case and whether it constitutes a foul. If it does, it will be called back, and we'll have to see here as Francois Letessier has made the call following the VAR review. And the goal does not stand, and instead, Argentina get a foul from that position. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the beauty of VAR. That is the beauty of VAR and the moments that it the beauty of VAR, the moments that it does not allow you to have is moments like that. And so the foul is given the way of Argentina. Lionel Messi stepping up to take this close to the corner flag. Has support around the edge of the box. And it goes in towards the back post. Well, towards the front post. It was going towards the back post, got intercepted, and it will be a corner for Argentina. And the second corner of the game for the Argentines sails over the heads of everyone. Attempting another cross here, and it is attempted. It's blocked by Egypt again. What a roller coaster we've seen the last couple of minutes in this fixture. What an absolute roller coaster. That goal for the Egyptians could have sealed it. Given how the game has gone, that could have sealed it. And instead, they'll have to continue to defend this 1-0 lead and hope they get another breakaway chance. Because Atiya's foul on Lisandro Martinez wasn't initially caught. And here we go again. Egypt pushing forward after a good tackle by the Egyptians. Salah for Hassan. Hassan looking for help. Looking for a back heel through to Salah. It doesn't work. And it will be a throw-in for the Egyptians. And again, for a player who did not start in their last fixture against Australia, came on and did decently well. Hassan has done incredibly well against the Argentines here today, as the throw-in from Hamad Hani does find Mo Salah very, very well. Looking to keep possession here, Mo Salah, the now ex-Liverpool man. Going back to Rabia. Over to Hafez. Egypt still trying to get the second. Meanwhile, Argentina are trying to get things back on level terms. Hani looking to help and looking for help. And he has found it. It's really good sequence of play down the right. It's a good idea to thread it through towards Hamdi Fathi. But did not work. And Argentina back in possession. And Atlanta has witnessed a roller coaster of a second half, a thunderbolt of a first half, with a lot of surprises and a lot of clear moments, as Mo Salah seemingly has won a foul here up against Lisandro Martinez again this time. Nope, went the other way, to the dismay of Mo Salah, and Messi looking to build here. Supported down the left-hand side by Enzo Fernandez, looking to dribble out towards the edge of the box. He's found Messi. Messi for Leandro Paredes. Paredes gets it back here and goes back. Egypt have pushed the Argentines further and further back the longer the game has progressed. And here is Nico Tagliafico thinking about a cross down the left. Doesn't go for it. Here comes the cross from Lisandro Martinez. Enzo doesn't get to the end of it. The Egyptians do. And the ball back on the right-hand side now. Here is Lionel Messi on the edge of the box. Messi up against three. Loses possession. Chases to keep it. Does keep it. Finds Lisandro. Here is Tagliafico. Back to Martinez. Back to Tagliafico. And now all the way back to Dibu Martinez, who goes long. It's a good ball by the goalkeeper, and it makes it far, but not finding its target. with 25 minutes to go, the Argentines are making, well, close to making their substitutions, one of which will be Lautaro Martinez. The other, I believe, is Nicolas Gonzalez. As Rodri de Paul here down the right-hand side with a ball, and it's headed out and wide by the Egyptians. A bit of a scare, really. By Mustafa Zico, but he does well. And he did get the yellow card for taking his shirt off, although the goal didn't stand. And now we're seeing two changes. Rodri de Paul off and Nico Tagliafico off, replaced by Nicolas Gonzalez and Lautaro Martinez, which means that instead of Tagliafico, you're going to see Nicolas Gonzalez, which is going to make for a very attacking left back situation for Argentina. It's a very good move here by Messi. Down the right-hand side, he cuts inside, beating the defender, couldn't get the cross away. And the defender, in this case, is the attacker for Egypt, Mustafa Zico, who does very well. Tries to chase it down and did not get it in time. And it will be a corner for the Argentines once more. We'll see what happens here as it is cleared in the first time of asking. And here could be a chance for Egypt. Here is Mohamed Salah down the left-hand side. Salah has Hassan with him. Can he find him? He finds him. Sam Hassan down the right-hand side up against two. Hassan beats one. Hassan with the cutback. And Mustafa Zico, and this time it counts. Egypt 2, Argentina 0 off the counterattack once more. And this time there's no VAR to intervene as Egypt extend their lead to 2. This is the magic of the World Cup, ladies and gentlemen. The corner is cleared. It finds Mohamed Salah down the left. He's up against two. He threads it for Hassan, just about. Hassan still has two defenders in front of him. He beats Nicolas Gonzalez, cuts it in for Mustafa Zico, who finds himself wide open. And in fact, he beat Enzo Fernandez as well, who was tracking back, as well as the line of defense. The man behind Mustafa Zico was none other It wasn't enough for Argentina. It wasn't enough for Egypt. One goal wasn't enough for Egypt. They wanted the second, and they kept fighting for the second, even after the VAR intervention, and even after the goal was overruled initially. Schubert told his teammates, keep going, keep pushing. And that's exactly what they did. Mo Salah stepping up exactly when his team needed him after a subpar performance time after time in this World Cup, especially against Australia. The team lifted what was left, and what needed to be lifted was taken care of by the rest of the team. And today, he's not been as involved as he would have liked, but he's been involved when it's really mattered. And he's been a key factor in this second goal for Egypt with 21 minutes to go. Argentina need 3. Can they get one here off this cross? Mohamed Hani clears. The shot lands for Leandro Paredes, actually. And it's a very wayward effort. And for Mustafa Zico, he's had 7 international appearances for this team, scored 4 goals, 2 in this tournament alone. This one, as well as one earlier on in the tournament. And that is the definition of coming in clutch. Another chance here maybe for Egypt. Argentina say no, and this could be a chance here if they can find a shot from the edge of the box. The answer to that is also no. Here's Nico Gonzalez, and that is brilliant from Sam Hassan. That is brilliant tackling from the catalyst of so much good for the Egyptian side tonight. The Real Oviedo man, 24 years of age, has done so well for his side in this game. And without Imam Ashur, Egypt prevails and rise from the ashes against an Argentina team that everyone had written as their favorite for this tournament. And this is the beauty of the World Cup. What a wonderful game this has been so far. 72 minutes in, of course, the last hydration break of this game. As we approach the final stanza of this matchup. Game is being played in Atlanta. And they're witnessing an upset, to say the least. I think very few would have expected this before the game had kicked off. Very few would have expected Egypt to take this to Argentina the way they have and to play as well as they have done defensively. Because the thing is, when you have a team that plays a low block, usually at some point that low block runs out of steam. And we're nearing the last 15 minutes of this fixture, which would send Egypt historically, for the first time, at the very least in recent memory, to the quarterfinals of the FIFA World Cup. And as for Argentina, this would be nothing short of a disappointment as the shot is blocked. Good cutback by the Argentines, thwarted by the Egyptian defense. And Argentina continue to try creatively to break down this low block. And Egypt have put on a clinic today. They've played to their strengths, and they have been crucially clinical in their attacks. Here is Enzo Fernandez. And a pass there from Lautaro to a teammate goes wayward. Egypt pick it up. They try to build something. Argentina stop them. And now a chance for Argentina. And another chance with a cross here towards the back post. It's dealt with the first time of asking. Here's Nico Gonzalez with a cross. And the shot goes wayward again. This time by Lautaro Martinez. Now, El Molina has been taking off here in this hydration break, replaced by Gonzalo Montiel. Which is very interesting because the goal and the attacks from Egypt have all been down their own right-hand side, purely because of the fact that they don't have Imam Ashur down the left. So they're forced to play it centrally or down the right where Hassan is. And Down the right, they took off Nico Tagliafico. Argentina took off Nico Tagliafico, replaced him with Nicolas Gonzalez. And shortly after, they conceded. Down the left-hand side for Egypt, Egypt don't have much right now. Hamdi Fethi is not the same style of wide midfielder that you would expect from Imam Ashur. He's not as daring to go forward. He's more of a defensively oriented substitution, at least in my eyes. And we've seen that. We've seen how defensive he's been, even in the counterattacks. So for Argentina to make the change down the right as they try cross here, and it goes across the face of goal. It's cleared by Egypt. And ultimately, it is called back for offside. And it is just offside as well. It's a decent ball through. And another change that we've seen from Egypt is that of Haitham Hassan coming off for Trezeguet, who has also performed quite well in this World Cup. But the interesting thing will be whether Trezeguet will take up the left side or the right side, because now what we're seeing is Zico's playing down the right a bit more, but might be another chance here for Egypt. Salah couldn't get it off his feet quick enough, and Egypt now looking to just maintain possession. Down the left-hand side, diagonal switch over to the right for Mohamed Hani. Hani in for Mohamed Salah, back to Mohamed Hani. Good ball through. And this could be a chance for Zico. And it goes all the way to Trezeguet. What can he do down the left? Trezeguet looking for a chance here. Goes for the shot. And it hits the side netting. That could have been the third for Egypt, which is very, very surprising to say, given the expectations before this match. But Egypt are the team that currently lead by 2 goals. And Argentina are the team that have currently not scored a single one over the course of these last 77 minutes. That is the reality of this World Cup fixture so far. And we'll see what Argentina can do down the right-hand side here. Chance, maybe, if they can get the right cross, and they go in for Messi inside. Messi around the edge of the box here. 1-2s all around. Can they keep it going, Argentina? No is the answer. And it's, again, they're having to slow it down to a crawl because Egypt have defended for their lives here. And a chance here for McAllister with a cross, and it's blocked. The subsequent shot from Lionel Messi is blocked as he was trying to take it on the volley. Gonzalez. Now Lisandro Martinez down the left. Martinez up against 2. Goes for a cross and towards the back post. It's floating and is denied very well by Trezeguet. Corner for the Argentines. We'll have to see what Argentina can conjure out of this corner. If the previous ones are anything to go by, not a lot, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. And let's see here. It's a goal, 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 goal. Cuti Romero. Argentina score to reduce the deficit. And the Egyptian players are claiming that he would have been offside. We'll have to see whether that holds, given that the VAR intervention happened for Argentina, in favor of Argentina against Egypt. Let's see if he was offside. Doesn't appear to be at first glance, but that's what VAR is for. It's a very good header from Cuti Romero. Just out of reach fully for Shabari. Did get a hand to it. Wasn't able to fully get it out of the danger area. And Argentina have reduced the deficit with 10 minutes to spare. We'll see if it stands. Because if there is an offside, it is incredibly marginal. Referee is not himself going to look at the screen, it seems. No, he isn't. And the play goes on. 2-1. And Omar Marmoush comes on for Mustafa Zico. Here come Argentina. Lionel Messi through the middle. 1-2. Denied by the Egyptian defense, rather. And now comes the real test for the Egyptians. Can they withstand this pressure from the Argentines? That is the question. Because now, rather than holding on to a 2-0 lead, which, as we all know, is the most dangerous lead to hold on to, the question will be, can they avoid conceding a second without necessarily having to go for the third themselves? We'll have to see. Argentina playing it calmly here, looking for the opening down the right-hand side. Here is Lionel Messi, thinking about a cross, going towards the byline, goes back for the supporting cast in Alexis McAllister, who just about gets a foot to it. Looks like it will be a corner for Argentina. And can they score another one is the question. Lionel Scaloni's men, obviously, with now 6 corners to their name, will feel that they should have done more. Chaubert punches it out. It's cleared by Egypt, and we'll see whether the Argentines can mount the comeback they need here. And another chance for Argentina goes to waste. It's a good ball in from Messi to Lisandro Martinez. His header goes wide. And again, for Argentina, they will feel that they, without a doubt, should have done a whole lot better than this. 8 minutes to go of regular time. If Argentina score an equalizer, remember, this would go through extra time, 2 sets of 15, and then a penalty shootout if the teams remain even. However, if Egypt are able to sustain this lead for the remainder of this second half, plus injury time, they will have done something incredibly historical. And Argentina, with a attempted cross here through Lionel Messi, it's denied the first time, gone in the second time. Can they get a shot away here? And there it is! Goal! Goal, 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 goal! Golazo de Leo Messi! Argentina save it at the death. 83 minutes on the clock, and the Argentines have a lifeline. Lionel Messi with a thunderbolt into the back of the net, off the crossbar and in. And the greatest of all time has done it again. That is a thunderous finish from Lionel Messi. And he has been trying time and time and time again. And with this momentum now, of course, comes the question, can Argentina, can they mount this comeback completely? The cross goes in for Lisandro Martinez. For not Lisandro, Lautaro Martinez. He flicks it on to Gonzalo Montiel, who manages to keep hold of it just enough to pass it on to Lionel Messi on the volley. Bangs it off the crossbar and in. And that is why you never write off world champions. Argentina 2, Egypt 2. The Egyptians sustained this for 79 minutes. They sustained their 2-0 lead. Well, their lead, shall we say. Having gotten the first goal in the 15th minute through Yasser Ibrahim. Then the follow up through Mustafa Zico in the 67th before Argentina responded with 2 goals in a matter of 5 minutes. Messi now the first player to score in 9 consecutive World Cup games and the leading top scorer as well. Here come Argentina. Nicolas Gonzalez down the left for Enzo Fernandez. The ball goes long towards Nicolas. Looking to keep it in play up against Mohamed Hani, and he does really well. And it looks like he might have gotten the goal kick, but he also can't seem to get back up again. Mohamed Hani will have to see if he's okay. Because the last thing the Egyptians need now is another substitution. And the VAR images do show that Cuti Romero for the first goal was indeed onside. Just about, but onside. 4 minutes to go of regular time. Either team will have to press to win this in the 90, or it will go to extra time and we'll see who does best. This going to penalties would not be good for Argentina in the sense that they should have never allowed that to happen, given what they have on paper. But the Egyptians have genuinely put on an incredible performance in every sense of the word. And to capitulate the way they did in the last couple of minutes does not take away from the performance that they've put in and the struggle that they've had the Argentines endure over the course of these 90 minutes. This has been a historical performance by the Egyptians. And we'll see what the score says at the end of the 90. 3 minutes to go of regular time. Can they find inroads? Because you do feel, and for good reason, that whoever scores the next goal winds up winning this game, which is a very obvious statement to make. I'm realizing that now. But with 2.5 minutes to spare, the goal would put this to bed. Argentina officially scoring their goals within a window of 4 minutes, whereas Egypt had them spread out one in each half. Here is Lisandro Martinez. And Argentina allowed a lot of room here in the early stages of midfield around the halfway line. And, well, they give away a throw in here. Careless from Gonzalo Montiel. And Egypt also unable to keep possession down the left. The fatigue is showing itself on both sides. But which side will prevail and emerge victorious is a question that will be answered within a matter of time. A minute and a half remains of these 90. And it is another foul, this time committed by Hafiz on Lautaro Martinez, it seems. And we'll have to see what Argentina can do with this free kick. It's from a fair distance away. And we'll have to see if they can come up with the goods. No is the answer. Argentina back in possession now around the halfway line once more. 30 seconds to go off the regular 90. And we'll have to see whether either of these sides will push for the third goal or stay for the 90-minute after party As Messi looks to slide it through, it did not come across to his teammate. Now it's Egypt. Well, now Egypt are tackling very aggressively just to try and keep Argentina away as we enter the final stanza of this match. It's a good ball through, or a good idea rather, as it didn't come over for Argentina. Here come Egypt on the counter attack. It's Mohamed Salah leaving it for Marmoush, and his ball is quite frankly terrible in that position. Should have done a lot better and got it off his feet way too late. 7 minutes of added time. Here comes Lionel Messi. Through one, through two, looks for the ball through, and it almost goes all the way. If not for the heroics of Mohamed Hani. Now, down the right with Mohamed Salah. And 6 minutes separate us from the full-time whistle. And we're seeing some good football on both ends, really, of this game, as Mohamed Salah looks to find Mohamed Hani down the right. Mohamed Hani goes for the cross in towards the back post, and it's dealt with by the Argentines very well. Their counter is also thwarted by the Egyptians, and now might be a chance here for Lachine down the left. Half space here, looking to build something. He calms it down a little bit as the Egyptians try to make their way through slowly. Lachine over for Marwan Atiyah. Atiyah over for Mohamed Salah down the right. Mohamed Salah looking to cut inside. Is it a foul? No, says the referee, as Salah falls to ground. Now Argentina might have a chance here on the counter attack to break the heart of Egyptians. With Lautaro Martinez down the right up against Rami Rabia. He goes for a cross in. And goal, 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 goal. Goal, 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 goal. Enzo Fernandez has stolen it at the death, and Argentina are through to the quarterfinals. 5 minutes remain, and it is very difficult to imagine them throwing it away now. Argentina complete the remontada in the final minutes as Enzo Fernandez heads it into the back of the net. It's a good cross from Lautaro Martinez. It's a good piece of play from Argentina on the counterattack. Schobert is asking for a VAR review for Mohamed Salah falling to the ground earlier, with not even a whistle, barely an advantage indicator, really. We'll see whether that does occur, as the VAR intervention was not hesitant when it came to the Egyptians. But will it be the same story here? As well, on the replay, it does seem as though Salah was fouled, which would mean a penalty goes the other way, and this goal would be ruled out. But will that be the case? Will VAR intervene once more for what could be a crucial point to turn of the events here in this game? Or will Francois Letessier say that done is done? Because with everything that has happened in this game and the way it's gone, it is hard to imagine the Egyptians having a way back unless VAR intervenes and deems that to be a penalty that was not given initially. It does not seem as though the referee is willing to look at VAR the same way he did to rule out Egypt's goal. We'll have to see whether that is the case. Well, a red card is issued here, the way of someone from Egypt's technical staff. A yellow card is issued for Schobert, the goalkeeper, for urging the referee to go to VAR. And it seems as though he won't. And thus, the goal will stand. 2 minutes left of this one, as Argentina go full defense mode with Nico Otamendi coming on. and Facundo Medina replacing Julian Alvarez and Cuti Romero. And the big talking point here, of course, will be, should VAR have intervened the way they did to disallow Egypt's goal? And to that, I think the answer is yes, because there were 2 points in that Egypt attack that could have been deemed as fouls had the foul occurred, but the review was never done by the referee the same way he did to rule out Egypt's first goal by Zico. Well, Zico's first goal, Egypt's second. So now here we stand, a minute and a half away from the full-time whistle. Zizou comes on to replace Mohamed Lashin. And Egypt's attempt at a quick attack falls to pieces as Emiliano Martinez catches it with no problem. Ball goes long here towards Lautaro Martinez. Mohamed Hani does really well to make sure it goes out for a goal kick and not a corner. Schubert urging his teammates to push up quickly. Here is Rabia over towards the right-hand side, and it's dealt with by Argentina once more. And with 30 seconds left on the clock, that does appear to be it. Hamdi Fethi also picking up a yellow card in the discussions that occurred between the Egyptians and the referee. And for Egypt, regardless of what happens here, they can hold their heads high. A performance like this against the defending world champions, almost knocking them out, or at the very least, despite whether they were knocked out or not, at the very least, putting up this much of a fight and having the lead for as long as Egypt did is something to be incredibly proud of, regardless of whether they find themselves out of this World Cup or not. It has been such a thunderous performance by the Egyptians. Down the left-hand side here. Here they go again. It's a cross in towards the mixer. It's cleared by Argentina. A counterattack attempt here by the Argentines. And it's absolutely thwarted by an aggressive, I believe, Mohamed Hani. It was there picking up a yellow card. Yes, it is. Yellow card is issued there. Well, it was Marwan Atiyah, actually, who fouled Lautaro Martinez there. And it will be a yellow for the midfielder. And the referees once again going over to the technical area, issuing yet another yellow card. And Hussam Hassan gesturing to the referee with an X, although unsure what he means exactly by that, whether he means the goal shouldn't stand or whether he's asking François Letessier to disregard something else, as the Egyptians are now having an argument with the referee. 98 minutes have elapsed of the 97 that we were initially promised. Of course, in part due to the discussions that have occurred since these 7 minutes were added on top. And we'll see whether Egypt can somehow miraculously get an equalizer or whether Argentina will come away with the win here, as the free kick from Messi from the halfway line appears to have been taken by Lisandro instead, goes out of play. Egypt looking to speed things up a little bit here. Argentina doing the same. A bit of hoofball going on the pitch. And we'll have to see whether the Argentines can sustain this lead or maybe add to it. Down the left-hand side here is, well, he's fighting for it, Enzo Fernandez, as are the Egyptians, as he hugged the ball by the corner flag. And it will be a goal kick for Schobert. Down the left hand side here. I would say minutes to go, but we genuinely do not know at this point, as we were initially told that it was 7 minutes of injury time. Now we're up to 10 as the Egyptians continue to try to break down this Argentine defense. Argentinians looking to now combat on the counter, which has been what Egypt have been trying to do for the majority of this match. As Lautaro Martinez down the left hand side here looking to just hold up play in an effort to run down the clock up against a solid Egyptian side here that continue to defend for their lives. And Lautaro seems to have picked up a bit of a squabble there with Marwan Atiyah once more, who's already on a yellow, need I remind you. Looks like it will be a throw in here for Argentina and Enzo Fernandez. Enzo taking the throw for Lautaro. Lautaro once again looking to waste time. Once again looking to run down the clock, Lautaro Martinez. And the Egyptians going long here. And that is all she wrote. Argentina are through to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Messi with tears in his eyes. Egyptian hearts broken, in part by VAR and the selective interventions that VAR have at times. In either case, Argentina advanced to the World Cup quarterfinals where they will face the winner of the Switzerland-Colombia tie. Egypt are out at the round of 16. Again, a historical feat to even have made it this far. Have really put up a huge fight here against the defending world champions, who will get a chance to further defend this trophy as they pass on to the quarterfinals of the World Cup 2026. I have been Omar Hawash. For the time being, I have run out of words for what has been a true roller coaster in every fashion and in every sense of the word of a World Cup round of 16 fixture. For your information, the teams that remain are the following. Norway have knocked out Brazil. England have knocked out hosts Mexico. Argentina have just knocked out Egypt. Switzerland and Colombia will face each other later today. France have knocked out Paraguay and will face Morocco. Morocco have knocked out the hosts, well, one of the three hosts in Canada, and will face France. Spain have knocked out Portugal and will face Belgium, who have knocked out the third round of hosts in the U.S. So the hosts are all out. The teams that remain are France, Morocco, Norway, England, Spain, Belgium, now Argentina, and either of Switzerland or Colombia for the quarterfinals of the World Cup 2026 being held in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Of course, games will take place. For the Norway-England game, it will take place in Miami. The Argentina and Switzerland or Colombia game will take place in Kansas City. France will face Morocco in Boston. Spain will face Belgium in Los Angeles, in Inglewood. So, those are the teams that advance. Egypt are out. And the game that is the continuation of this tie here, Argentina v. Switzerland or Colombia, will take place this coming Saturday. As for the further round of knockouts, France and Morocco will face each other in just 2 days as the first fixture, then Spain v. Belgium in 3 days, Norway v. England on Saturday, and Argentina v. Switzerland/Colombia on Sunday to see who makes it to the semifinals of the World Cup. I have been Omar Hawash. This has been BG Matchday covering the FIFA World Cup 2026. I thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the commentary, regardless of whether you enjoyed the game, which I also hope you did. And I will